My name is Umberto Ortega, and today I'll be introducing the ancient Japanese faith system of Shintoism. In this presentation, I will be going over the beliefs of Shintoism, Shinto mythologies and legends, different faith practices, events, traditions, and Shinto values, and a brief overview of significant events in the history of Shintoism. Let's get started. Introduction to Shintoism. Shintoism is an indigenous Japanese belief system that predates any historical records for more than 2,000 years. It has no specified founder, unlike other world religions, and does not require the use of any sacred texts like the Bible, Quran, or the Vedas. It is one of Japan's leading faith systems, being recognized by the Japanese government as one of the two of the nation's national religions alongside Buddhism. It is comprised of more than 80% of the population who actively participate in faith traditions and events. As a result, Shintoism is recognized as one of the world's largest polytheistic and animistic religions, focused on performing various ritual practices in order to communicate and connect with spirits known as kami. Religious symbols. The most common symbol in Shintoism is a torii. The torii gate is a large two-post gate that is often made out of wood or stone. It marks the entrance into a holy space and symbolizes the boundary between our human world and the world of the kami. This gate reflects Shintoism's belief for humans to connect with kami. Key beliefs. Shintoism translates directly into the way of the gods, which perfectly reflects its beliefs. As previously stated, Shintoism believes in multiple spirits or gods, which can be compared to the practices of deities in Hinduism. These spirits are referred to as kami and take on the form of objects and life concepts such as the sun, mountains, water, rain, trees, and fertility. There are over 8 million kami in Japan, and nearly 80,000 of them acquire their own shrines. Shintoism is also an animistic religion. Animism is a belief in inanimate objects or natural phenomena containing souls. Correspondingly, Shintoism holds the belief that once a person dies, they become a kami, which may come in the form of an inanimate object or natural phenomena. These kami are looked at for guidance and fortune by their family and ancestry. It should be noted that the kami of important social figures may be held in shrines. Other important beliefs. Focus. When talking about the principal beliefs of Shintoism, it is important to take note that the Shintoism belief system is not a religion aimed at answering existential questions such as the reason for human existence or what happens after death. It is rather a religion focused on communicating with spirits through rituals in order to obtain good fortune. Rights and wrongs. Another key Shinto belief is that there is no definitive answer to what is right and what is wrong. Shintoism believes that all people are naturally good and pure at their core, free from evil and wrongdoings. It is by evil spirits that evil is done to others and the world. In order for an individual to keep themselves away from these evil spirits, they must conduct regular purification rituals, indulge in prayers, and give offerings to kami. These practices will be examined later on in this presentation. Mythologies and legends. Why are mythologies and legends so important to Shintoism? As Shintoism is a religion that has been documented throughout the centuries and holds undeniable importance around its kami, Shintoism holds a vast amount of mythologies and legends. These mythologies and legends predate as far back as the first recorded documents of Shintoism in ancient Japan, and hold stories about the creation gods and the creation of Japan all the way to the sun, wind, and moon kami, alongside other important kami. In the following slides, I'll be going over some of Shintoism's most important mythologies and legends. These mythologies and legends include the creation myth, the legend of Amaterasu, the legend of Susanoo, and the legend of Tsukuyomi. The creation myth, Izanami and Izanagi. Izanami and Izanagi are known as the creator gods. The two gods are said to have created the world, Japan, and various islands. In the myth, it believed that the two gods stirred the seas with a spear, and at the tip of the spear, mud dripped and created the first island, Japan. The rest of the islands would be the offsprings of the two gods and would make way for several hundreds of kami during this time period. Later in the story, the greatest kamis would be born directly from god Izanagi. His left eye formed the sun goddess Amaterasu, his nose created the storm god Susanoo, and his right eye created Tsukuyomi, the moon god. Amaterasu, the sun kami. Amaterasu is the sun goddess and one of the most important and highly regarded kami in Shintoism. She is the daughter of Izanami and Izanagi, born from Izanagi's left eye. In her legend, the emperors of Japan are regarded as her descendants, which was used to provide justification for their ruling. Susanoo, the wind and storm kami. Susanoo is the god of wind and storms and is often looked at for protection from his elements. He is the son of Izanami and Izanagi, making him the brother of Amaterasu. In the legend, Susanoo was driven out of heaven due to his disgraceful behavior towards his sister, into West Japan, where he killed an 8-headed dragon that was terrorizing a farming family and recovered the dragon's tail, which he made a sword out of and called the Kusanagi. He would return to his sister and give her the Kusanagi as an act of repentance, welcoming him back to the heavens. Tsukuyomi, the moon kami. The last of the three siblings, Tsukuyomi was born of Izanagi's right eye. He is the husband of Amaterasu. In the myth, Tsukuyomi killed the goddess of food out of repulsiveness for her methods of creating a great feast for the gods. Amaterasu was not present at this feast, will later hear about her husband killing the food goddess and labels Tsukuyomi as an evil god separating from him. Tsukuyomi would spend the rest of eternity chasing after Amaterasu, never coming close to reaching her, creating the origin of day and night, the moon chasing the sun. Shrines. Shrines are the most important sacred places of worship for Shinto kami. They are marked by a large torii gate at each entrance and different buildings and structures which hold significance and symbolism of Shinto beliefs. The practice of shrines in Shintoism predates more than 2,000 years in Japanese history, with over 100,000 shrines being dedicated to different kami. In the following slides, I will be going over the different characteristics and elements of shrines. I will be going over what a person can find in a shrine, the different buildings in a shrine, and the significance of these different buildings and objects. Different buildings in a shrine. Shrines can be found across Japan, usually engulfed in nature. Although these shrines may be scattered across Japan, they are hard to miss, as they are often home to a number of complex traditional styled buildings. The first of these buildings is the Hoden. The Honden is usually hidden in the location of the shrine and it houses sacred objects and treasures that each represent the shrine's kami. This building may hold sacred weapons, jewelry, scriptures, paintings, and even foods that correlate with the shrine's kami. Another building in the shrine is called the Hayden. The Hayden is used as a place where people can conduct prayers and give offerings to the kami. Priests hold ceremonies and host Shinto wedding ceremonies in these buildings. The last of these buildings is the Kagura stage. Building is designed to be used to perform sacred dances and no theater performances. Although the stage may serve two purposes, it is designed for the performance of the sacred dance Kagura, which symbolizes goddess Amaterasu. This will be examined later on in the presentation. Objects that can be found in the shrine. Alongside these distinct buildings, shrines also consist of a number of special objects, all of which represent the sacredness and symbolize the shrine's kami. Sacred paper markings may be used on shrine grounds to highlight the sacredness of the location. Usually made with shimenawa or hemp rope, these markings can be very small or massive, hanging in front of buildings at the shrine. Komainu. Komainu or guardian dogs may be found on the sides of the main entrance approaching the shrine's hoden. These guardians take on the forms of various animals and are said to be the messengers of the correlating kami of the shrine. Usually found near the entrance of a shrine, purification troughs are fountains that are used for a person to conduct purifications on themselves upon entering a shrine. A person is meant to wash both their hands and mouth using this water before entering the shrine and approaching the main hall. This is a sign of respect towards the kami as it symbolizes entering the space in a cleansed and pure state. Is where visitors get to write any wishes they have on wooden plates and leave them at the shrine in hopes of their wishes being fulfilled. People may wish for good health, success, grades, love, or wealth at these stands. Shimenawa. These are straw ropes that contain stripes of zigzag paper. They are often found on torii gates, around sacred trees, and other sacred objects, and are used to symbolize a boundary between what is sacred. Rituals and events. Why are rituals and events so important? Shintoism places a mass importance on the use of rituals and events. By practicing various rituals and attending events, a person is able to connect with kami and spirits of those who they look up to. In attending and regularly practicing these rituals and events, it is believed that an individual will be blessed with good fortune and a prosperous life. Rituals on Mayuri is the regular practice of visiting Shinto shrines, whether they be public or private. This is done in order to commemorate and show appreciation to the kami. Hare or harai. This is the purification practice of Shintoism. This purification practice is performed in order to rid a person or object of any impurity. These practices may be conducted by using prayer from a priest, cleansing by water or salt, or mass purification sessions where a group is purified altogether. Kagura, ritual dance of Shintoism. The dance is used in order to pacify and energize kami, especially the kami of past loved ones. The dance is rooted in Shintoism's mythology of Amaterasu. In the legend, the angered and saddened Amaterasu hides in a cave due to the actions of her brothers Susanoo. The various kami attempt to bring Amaterasu out of her cave but do not succeed until one kami performs a dance for her that enlightens her and causes her to come out of hiding and restore light to the universe. This dance will become the ritual Kagura. Norito. Norito is the ritual of prayers that directly address kami during ceremonies. These prayers are directly said by both priests and worshippers and are structured in intricate language styles and words which, when performed correctly, bring blessings to all of those who perform the prayer. Omikuji. Omikuji is a practice where visitors of Shinto shrines obtain small slips of paper with fortunes on them. These papers are selected randomly, and by unrolling the paper, it is believed that the person who opens it will receive the random fortune. Events. Seijin Shiki, the event known as Adults Day, and is held every January 15th. On this day, men and women who have reached the age of 20, the legal age in Japan, attend shrines to give thanks to kami by conducting ritual practices for having been blessed with reaching adulthood. Shichi-Go-san. Children also have a special day as well. Shichi-Go-san is a festival performed when boys reach the age of 3 and 5 and girls reach the age of 3 and 7. This is the celebration done to give thanks to kami for blessing these children with good health and to wish them good fortune for a healthy, safe, and successful future. Oshogatsu. Oshogatsu is Japan's biggest festival, the New Year's festival. During this time, people will visit shrines and give thanks to kami for the coming year and wish for good fortune in the new year. This is one of Shinto's and Japan's largest festivals, and it's estimated that around 500,000 visitors visit 32 shrines each year at this time. Shinto values and principles, the four affirmations of Shintoism. Just as with any other religion, Shintoism has its own values and principles when it comes to social responsibilities and personal practices. These affirmations highlight the important focuses of Shinto followers and indicate areas of life that a person should follow if they are to accumulate positive fortune from kami, in turn gaining a better and happier life. The affirmations include the focus and importance of family, connectedness with nature, physical cleanness, and matsuri, otherwise known as honoring the spirits. The first affirmation of Shintoism is the focus on family and its importance. Throughout various historical periods and different cultures, family is regarded as one of the most important sectors of a person's life. A person's family will create permanent change in both an individual's life and the life of their ancestors. In Shintoism, preserving and attending to family values and traditions is held high, as it is the pedestal for preserving traditional values and beliefs. 2. Connectedness with nature. Shintoism places emphasis on the unity and harmony people should have with nature. From how shrines are engulfed in nature, to how trees and other environmental phenomena are deemed as holy, nature is viewed as a method that kami use to communicate with us. By spending more time in nature, we are spending more time with kami and uniting with them. 3. Physical cleanness. Maintaining a good physical cleanness is also a principle in Shintoism. Ritually washing your face and hands, brushing your teeth, and taking regular showers ensures that a person is pure. As examined earlier in this presentation, individuals must wash their face and hands when they enter a shrine. This ensures that all people are in a state free from evil when they enter the space of a kami. 4. Matsuri. Shintoism holds a vast amount of importance when it comes to communicating with kami. The principle of Matsuri is dedicating and honoring the spirits of one's ancestors. This is done through festivals where humans communicate and indulge in the presence of spirits, as well as through the use of rituals such as purification, prayers, dances, and other offerings. Important historical events. We'll be going over three significant landmarks in Shinto history, starting off in the 6th century before the Common Era, with the assimilation of Chinese and East Asian cultures in Japan. Century before the Common Era, Japanese culture was being assimilated by China and other neighboring East Asian societies. Alongside the various practices and values that were being introduced to Japan, Chinese and East Asian religions were also being introduced. Among these newly introduced religions, Buddhism had the most severe effect on Shintoism, as it quickly overshadowed the native Japanese religion by regarding native gods as manifestations of Buddha. This new view would substantially impact Shintoism, causing Buddhist priests to become the custodians of Shinto shrines, introducing their own structures, rituals, and images into Shinto shrines in accordance with their Buddhist beliefs. Later on, the changes of the 6th century will create a new belief, Ryobu Shinto. Ryobu Shinto translates directly into the Shinto of two kinds, and is a sector of Shintoism that unites Buddhist and Shinto beliefs. However, during this time period, there was a clear domination of Buddhism over Shintoism. The introduction of this religion would cause ancient Shinto practices to almost completely disappear, with only a few shrines existing in the imperial palace. Shrines contained predominantly Buddhist symbolism rather than Shinto. 18th century, religions coexisting. During the Meiji period, things would start to change in favor of Shintoism. During this period, Shintoism would be separated from Buddhism due to the relentless efforts of Shinto priests, politicians, and followers. Efforts were mainly ingrained due to the Shinto belief that the emperor was the divinity of Japan and a descendant of sun goddess Amaterasu, Shintoism's most important kami. Impact of the change. The separation of Shintoism and Buddhism would create a lasting impact on Japan, even seen today. Shinto priests would become state officials alongside Buddhist priests. Shrines would receive funding from the government, and both Buddhism and Shintoism will be regarded as Japan's major religious systems. The distinction between Shintoism and Buddhism will lead to the two religions coexisting together in harmony, complementing each other and intertwining in ways that benefited both religions without creating an imbalance. Conclusions. Shintoism is one of Japan's oldest and most prominent religions, living alongside other Chinese and East Asian religions. Faith believes in the everlasting connection that humans should share with spirits known as kami, who take on the form of objects and natural phenomena. It is through the use of various forms of traditions and rituals that we can indulge in the delightful presence of kami and in turn receive good fortune and healthy, happier lives. Shintoism is unlike other religions as it does not focus on answering life's unanswerable questions, but instead strives to spark hope and optimism in its followers, consequently making it impossible to not understand how this religion survives centuries and adversities, as its impact extends far beyond being just a native Japanese religion, but a symbol of hope for all of its followers throughout the centuries. And that's my presentation. Thank you. And here's my works cited.